everyone, it's Rokan and you're watching another movie of the week, and the movie of this week was Mighty Ducks 2 from 1994. So if you haven't watched it, watch it now. Also done the first Mighty Ducks movie and review for that, so please watch that movie first and watch that review and comment your thoughts, and then watch this movie and watch this review, and we're gonna do the next one as well. So obviously this one was similar to the first one, but was different. This one, I think when I'm like watching it back to back, it isn't as good as the first one. Like, it doesn't hit as hard, and I feel like the humor and the funniness of it doesn't hit as hard. So it's kind of like he's the coach, he's like, doing really well, like he might go pro, and then of course he has an injury that brings him back home. It's very much the hero journey, which is such a Disney thing. It's like still the hero's journey. In the first movie he was a lawyer and he gets like a DUI and he has to go back to coaching, but in this one it's kind of like he gets injured, so he has to go back to coaching. But this one he's like less resistant to coaching because he likes these people. And so then they have this like great scene where they all like get back together and like they're quack quack quack, and you like see where all the players are now. And it's kind of crazy because I would say like a lot of them, like 80% of them, are from the first movie. There are a few people that don't come back and stuff, and so I don't know if it's something like the writers decided or if it's something the actors decided, like the actors didn't want to come back. I feel like that can't be the case. Like, they're kid actors, like these movies are pretty big. I'm sure they were given the opportunity, they would want to come back. So I think it had to do with the writers where they're like, these characters, like they're just not bringing something extra to it. And, they had new characters. So anyway, it was crazy that they're like doing like a junior hockey team, and so it's like all the players from the old team plus some new players, and so the new players are like like they're all have good qualities but also bad qualities. It's like, oh, he's a really great skater, he's so fast but he can't stop. Like, what? So I think they just like wanted to add like more characters and funniness to it, but it's just like some of it just like logistical wise, like the first movie they're like a like Pee-wee team, but this like supposed to be like bigger stakes, so it's kind of like, but kind of both the movies kind of have like the same plot and same angle to it, where they're kind of still like both the underdog, but obviously this one they worked together before, so they have a little bit of the upper hand where they're winning everything. And it's kind of interesting too because in the first movie he like the coach kind of lived a certain lifestyle and he was getting away from that by coaching the team, but in this movie he was coaching the team and he was starting to get back into that lifestyle with like the whole LA and like the swag and like not really like coaching his team. I think also because they were a little bit stronger at the start, they had that differences between like the new players and the old players, and just kind of like mixing that in. They had some extra plots too, which like Adam Banks hurting his wrist and not being able to play. And then Charlie, I felt like didn't have that big of a role in this movie, but they had him where he was like started taking a more coaching role. And then Kenan Thompson is what makes this movie. Kenan Thompson is so great. And out of all the like kids and all kids, but like the younger cast in this movie, like Joshua Jackson and Kenan Thompson are like the most famous out of all of them. So it's kind of funny. I'm trying to think, like, who would you think is more famous? I don't know, because Kenan has like SNL, and so SNL is pretty big, but like I don't know, Joshua Jackson and Kenan Thompson. Yeah, most of the other cast didn't do that great. The girl character, she was in like some things, so I would say she's the third biggest, but I feel like it wasn't as special as the first one, and it does feel a little bit less than an underdog story. Of course he had to have like the love interest, so at first it like seems like, oh, it might be the coach for the Iceland team, but then it really like is just the teacher they have. But of course there has to be a love interest. Oh my god, this is another point. So how I was saying the first movie, it's like that guy from the ice skating shop is like kind of like the mentor character, and then in this movie it wasn't him. It was like supposed to be his brother. And I think this is the first time I've ever realized this, because not spoilers, but I've said this in the first video. Like, I've watched this movie so many times as a kid, like these series so many times as a kid. So like, I never realized before that's not him, that was his brother. And I bet you that that's the only one that they wanted to come back and didn't want to come back. Like, I bet you the person didn't want to come back, and so they got someone who looks a lot like him and pretended to be his brother, but like literally had the same quality and personality as him. Like, he was the mentor. And of course they have to like lose to Iceland first. How I said Iceland there is funny. Before they beat Iceland, so of course they lost to Iceland, and then it's like they almost lost their way, but then they come back. And then they also have that scene where the two coaches, Iceland and America, are like competing against each other, and it totally is not Emilio. Like, you could like, oh my god, I like probably didn't realize this before either, but like literally how like the scenes were shot, like they had like a stunt double, like, and they had like the hair and the hat like covering it, but it was definitely a stunt double. Like, I'm sure Emilio knows how to skate okay and everything, but like not in like the competing of that scene. Also, this is another point, I just felt like the level of hockey was much higher in this movie, and I felt like more so in this movie than other movies, like a lot of the hockey was just like knocking another person over. Like, it was like a lot of that, and like it just seems so dangerous. Like, I feel like that was just missing in the first movie, but in this movie, it's like, it's just so much like knocking someone over is hockey. Now, of course, like in the last game, they're down, and then they we're like, where are the Ducks? They come out with new jerseys. What? Also, like, it's not the same jersey as the first movie, so what's the point? Yeah, like, what's the point there? And then, like, where'd you get these jerseys from? Like, where did they come from? And how is it okay? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. That's what I think gets me, is this movie is less logistical. And I'm very logistical when it comes to movies, because they make me mad when they're not logistical. And so that just doesn't make sense. Also, wait, I have to talk about this scene where they go to the woman's store and they're watching all these women try things on, which I didn't realize this was like a thing. I don't know, maybe they used to do it in the 90s. I don't know, where they would have actual models on the store like try on the clothes for people. Like, that just seems kind of weird. I don't know if they just make that up for this movie, but I don't want to say like they made it up, because maybe that was like a real thing they did back in the day 30 years ago. But also that scene makes sense, because it's like they're wearing clothes. Like it just, I don't, like, it was supposed to be a comedic thing, but I just like feel like it's just like not funny. Like, it's just, where is the funniness of it? We're going back to the entire game. So the last game, it, ends in a shootout. And I think it's crazy, like, yes, Goldberg has improved from the last movie, but like, he's still like not the greatest of goalies. Like, it's still Goldberg. Like, he's so afraid of the puck. Like, what? And so the fact that this girl is so great, and like, he gave her like not a chance until like the last, shootout. Like, what? Like, and she's no warm up, and he was just like I would be freaking out like so much for sure. Like, Ned had played the entire time, and then like that's when I get to play. Like, what? I would be so mad. I would be so mad. Anyway, they win the day. They win, yay, yay, yay. And then at the end of the movie, and the credits, they're saying, we are the champions. We are the champions. And like, I remember a fireplace scene where they're singing, but I thought that was like in the middle of the movie. I didn't think it was like after the movie was over. And I didn't think it was that song. I thought it was like, we will rock you. We will rock you. But it was like, we are the champions. Like, is this Mandela effect? Like, am I remembering this movie wrong? Clearly I am. I don't know where it went wrong. I don't understand. Maybe, is there another movie where they sing We Will Rock You in the middle of the movie? That's like an underdog sports team movie? I don't know. Anyway, the point of these movies of the weeks are to compare the movies. And so like, obviously we haven't watched the third movie yet, so we'll compare more then. But I talked a little bit about it, but first movie I feel like was just much better than this movie. And like, not saying this movie is bad, but just like comparing and analyzing it to the first movie, it just was like less good, like less enjoyable. Like it just, I had nothing bad to say about the first movie, but I find myself having things to say about the second movie, and that's showing you, I guess. That's showing you. This has been a long video, so we're gonna end it here, and we'll obviously talk it more about in the next video, because the next video is Mighty Ducks 3 from 1996. So, you know, comment your thoughts below about the first two Mighty Ducks, you know, and then watch third Mighty Ducks for next week. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and bye.